Hey guys, I'm going to share with the video for you guys. In today's video, I'm going to share with you guys my top tips on how I keep my battery 100% on the iPhone 13 Pro. Now, this will work on any iPhone that you have because the iPhones are built very similar, and these are the top tips that Apple recommends and some that we found across the board, and it can help with a lot of our devices, especially iPhones, and you can apply this on your iPad, iPod as well, even MacBook to a degree. So there's going to be a couple things you want to know, especially around charging, how to charge, and some other general guideline that you want to follow. As you know, the iPhone 13 lineup was released a couple months ago, and now it's been some time. You might notice that if you go into settings and go to your battery and look at your battery health, now the battery health tells you how well your battery is doing. When you get a brand new, it's at 100%. As you can see, we used this phone for some time and it's still at 100%. And some of you, if you look in your battery health, it might be already down to 95, 90. Generally, Apple recommends you change it after it goes down past 80. Now, it doesn't mean it's completely bad. You can still use it until you really feel that the battery life is extremely bad, which happens around probably under 60 or so. But there's a couple things you do want to do to avoid getting there and having to replace it, because the replacement costs really a lot of money to get that battery replaced. The iPhone 13 Pro here does have a really big battery. It has a 3095 mAh battery, one of the bigger size battery we've seen. It does give you about 22 hours of video playback and gives you about 20 hours of video playback if you're doing a stream, and then up to 75 hours for audio playback. Built-in rechargeable lithium battery you're gonna find. Now, the cool thing about the iPhone 13 Pro is that you can actually use a 20-watt adapter, which Apple doesn't include. You do have to buy this separately, but you're able to charge it from 0 to 50% in about 30 minutes. So pretty fast charging. If you haven't grabbed those, want to grab those. And that's number one tip for you guys, that you want to use the genuine Apple product. As you can see here, this wall adapter is Apple, so you want to buy Apple specific adapter, because the way they're built in, you want to make sure they are supplying the right amount of battery to your phone. You don't want to get some third party or cheap one, because they're built really poorly and essentially going to affect your battery. You also want to use the power or the USB-C cable that you get in the box here. As you can see, this one, for example, you want to use that cable with that 20-watt one. So if you haven't used it, make sure you use that 20-watt, that adapter with the 20-watt. That's going to be the key thing here. Now, the next tip I want to share with you guys in terms of keeping your battery health is going to be around software updates. So if you go to software update, make sure that you're always updating the software of your phone. As you can see, there's a new software out there. We're going to most likely go ahead and update it, because with new software update, there's always a fix for the iPhone battery life and such. So make sure it's up to date as well. Now, that's going to be the case especially for iPhone 13 and the 13 lineup, because they are meant or built for iOS 15. Now, the next thing you want to do, especially around keeping your battery 100%, it's going to be avoiding extreme weather. So what do we mean by extreme weather? So when it comes to the phone's environment, so you want to be between 32 Fahrenheit to 90 Fahrenheit, in between those range. Now, if you go below 32, it's going to get really cold, and that's going to really impact that lithium ion battery that's built in. Now, if you go, same thing, if you go over 90, generally you don't want to be in those temperatures. So if you're outside on a summer day, you don't want to expose your iPhone to those extreme hot temperature. If you're in the winter months, you don't want to be out there or leaving your phone out there or somewhere outside that's going to be below 32 degrees. Now, that's going to be really important that you don't do that. The next thing is that cases are important for your iPhone to protection, but some cases can potentially be actually bad for your phone, like they overheat when you're charging if it's too insulated. This one, for example, the Apple case, this is a good one because it's something Apple recommends, and it's made in a way that it doesn't overheat. Some battery are known to overheat, so you want to avoid any sort of battery that could potentially, a case that can potentially overheat. Again, really extreme, but something to be careful of. Now, the next tip, probably the biggest tip, is going to be around your battery charge percentage. So when you charge your battery, the thing that you want to keep in mind is that you want to keep your battery charge in between 20 to 80% of charge. So what do we mean by that? If you pull down, especially from the top here, you'll notice it's at 83 right now. We want to generally stay between 20 and 80%, because what happens is if you undercharge and drain out the battery, it extremely goes down to a point where it's using the reserve charge on it, really just crunching out that last bit of power, and that could potentially impact the battery over a long time. Now if you go over 80, you're actually putting a lot of charge, it's holding excessive charge on the phone. Now you don't want to do that, because over time doing that could potentially expand that lithium battery and just keep on doing it, where if you're hitting that 100% all the time, although over time it wouldn't be bad, like if you need it for here and there, let's say you're going on a long travel or something, yeah, that's fine to charge it at 100%, but over time you don't want to do that. So try to stay between 20 to 80, and if you can, stop charging when you're at that 80 mark. Again, it's not really something you can do, but it's something you want to avoid, and that's something where this optimized battery charging comes in play. You want to make sure that is turned on as well. So this will happen is that once it reaches 80%, it will pretty much learn that your daily usage and stop charging. So for the 80%, so if you had do low battery mode on, it'll turn off that and optimize the charging. Again, it's a built-in feature. Make sure that it is turned on for your phone. Now the other thing you want to avoid, again, it's kind of a little bit more into details, is if you're gaming on your iPhone. So heavy, and this is going to be around heavy graphic games. So what do we mean? Not any simple light game like you play that are 2D or 2D or so, but if you're going to graphic heavy games that are meant to be played on the console, like PUBG, things like that, some of the games, player mode games that you play specifically on console, if you play for a long time, the battery starts to heat up, and you can kind of feel that. And over time, if you do a lot of gaming, it's heavy intensive on the battery and the actual hardware on the phone, and that could impact if you want to maintain your battery 100%. Avoid heavy gaming. The next thing you want to avoid, it's going to be overnight charging. Again, this sounds overnight charging, because what happens is overnight, if you leave it on charge, it's going to hit that 100% mark, and it's going to keep on trying to push out more charge to the phone, which the phone might not be able to handle. So avoid any sort of overnight charging if you can, because again, the same thing applies where we want to keep the battery at 80% charge. Now, the next thing is going to be around storing your iPhone. Let's say you were going to leave it off or not use it for some time, or moving away, or you're simply just storing it in a place. When you do that, make sure that you charge it halfway. You don't have to fully charge it, and it's not recommended that you fully charge it. Leave it at halfway charge, so 50% or so, and then turn it off and then put it away somewhere. That's going to reserve the battery life the best way it can. So hopefully these tips that we share with you guys help you guys maintain your battery life at 100%. We want to hear from you which of these tips worked, or if you have any other tips or tricks for us, leave a comment in the comment section. Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys next time.